Yo, apart from bro when I ain't had bread, me I didn't hear from no one. I span that block on my pedal bike, and I didn't see no one. I was linking thoughts and dogging them out and hanging up cars like hold on. Kinda weird, I missed that life, right, but it feels so wrong. Got paid but I had to stretch it, now I'm posted up trying to get it. She like, why you heartless? These hoes won't even get it. I got mad and I wanted to pull man up. If bros on go, don't tempt me. Don't even step with man if you're gonna explain to me why you left me. I was beefing guys that ain't got funds. Your line is slow, don't claim you shot. Dress code.
I have recently been inspired by Tom Platz, so not gonna go as heavy as I usually do, so I don't have to sacrifice reps. But I'm gonna kill volume today, so it'll be fun.
Black in summer, same tracksuit, yo, man's not hot. I couldn't even book no hotel, told my yeah that I know one spot. I fed on the block, let's relocate if shit gets hot.
Shit, what you saying though, man? I don't hear from you no more, bro. You good? I'm gonna check on man, fam. Just been on the block, man. Doing my thing. You know how it is, bro.
This feels really heavy today, but gonna do it. Probably gonna do one more set of this heavy and then drop down. So this is a 55, a 25, and a 10. Then I'll probably drop down to just the 10, then get rid of the 25s.
Apart from bro when I ain't had bread, me I didn't hear from no one. I span that block on my pedal bike, and I didn't see no one. I was linking thoughts and dogging them out and hanging up cars like hold on. Kinda weird, I missed that life, right, but it feels so wrong. Yo, shouted K like yo bro bleach it. At home debating the repercussions, yo fuck that I'm leaving. Ran man down in the daylight, probably like one zoo in the evening. Man always say real, recognize real, really what is the meaning? Car when bread's involved, them guys you're tight with moving different. Mumsy didn't expect this life from me when I was an infant. She saying I'm nonchalant, I'm glad you know how to listen. My neck went green back then, but now the VVs glisten. Apart from bro when I ain't had bread, me I didn't hear from no one. I span that block on my pedal bike, and I didn't see no one. I was linking thoughts and dogging them out and hanging up cars like hold on. Kinda weird, I missed that life, right, but it feels so wrong.
RDMS.
Give me life, give me love. Give me life, give me love.
Hello, welcome back. I'm continuing the series that I had started with. First one was being why you're not getting muscle. And now I'm going to do one on why you're not losing fat. One thing that I see a lot of people try to do right now is do fat loss and muscle gain at the same time. I mentioned this in the last video, but that is pretty difficult to do. But if you are a beginner, you can really get away with it. Just because what we call newbie gains, you'll get a little bit more from it. But I'm going to start with why you're not losing weight. I broke it into categories like I did last time. Mindset, nutrition and eating habits, energy and metabolism, lifestyle stress, and then other. So I do have handwritten notes as per usual, so please excuse me using them. New to the YouTube stuff. So, first, with mindset, I'm just going to dive right into it. The first thing that I usually see, and I even do this myself as a coach, is overestimating the amount of effort that you put in. And we can think that we're going really hard, and I promise you, record yourself for a few sets and it'll humble you really quickly. For example, when I'm squatting, it feels like I'm moving 2 centimeters per minute, but when I watch the video back, I'm actually going a lot faster than I think, which tells me that I have a little bit more in my tank than I perceived. So you always want to be at that 2 reps left in the tank with the exercises that you're doing. And then when it comes to other things, mindset and effort can also go towards nutrition. And a lot of people think, well, I'm eating better, or I'm not snacking at night anymore. And sometimes they switch to whole foods, which is great, but they also underestimate how calorically dense, because of how nutritionally dense those foods are, and they don't track, or they're not tracking things like condiments or drinks, and that can really add up. So again, underestimating effort, and we'll talk more about that in the nutrition category too. And underestimating intake, which kind of goes into that. And I always explain it as not tracking your BLTs, your bites, licks, and tastes. And most people underreport their food by 20 to 50%. And that's a large amount if you are trying to gain or lose significant weight. Same with gaining. Again, they think that just because it's healthy, it means low calorie. And they eat a lot of those healthy foods, and it just pushes them out of that deficit. Then, next category, nutrition and eating habits, not tracking accurately or at all, and you're just kind of eyeballing things. This can work if you have a good idea of what those meals need to look like. And I always say and explain tracking like a GPS. You can use it to get to where you're going a few times, memorize the route, and then you can circle back to it if you ever need it again. But it is a tool to get you to where you're going faster, and you may get there without tracking, but you may have to reroute a few times. So tracking will help a lot. And the next mistake that I commonly see is you're not eating enough protein. And I know that most people know this one because it's everywhere, but preserves lean mass, and it also helps keep you full. So double function there. And it's really important. My physique completely changed when I added more protein in. I was vegan for 6 years, and of course a little bit short on protein. Tried to get it from regular protein, and then switched back to eating meat again, and it made a huge difference. And I'm pretty sure it's just the protein difference and then less processed foods, but nonetheless, more protein, my physique got better. Many treats. Of course, it's great to have a sweet treat. I had some Ben & Jerry's ice cream yesterday, but you want to be in moderation, obviously, everything in moderation, as well as just plan for those things. If you know that you want a pint of ice cream or whatever it is on your period or something else that's going on, you can plan for it. And then sometimes it's not gonna, if it's one meal or one snack, it's not going to derail all of your progress. And just be mindful of what you're consuming and track it too. I always, if there's something that I want, like a little ice cream bar that's 100 calories, I'll track it at the beginning of my day so I can track everything else around it. So then I can still have a sweet treat and not pull myself out of my deficit too much. Calories, like creamers, juices, especially creamers in coffee, juices, alcohol. People don't realize that alcohol has calories, but it does. So it's very important. If you are binge drinking your calories away on the weekends, that could be pulling you out of a deficit. So keep that in mind. And then again, that kind of ties into this, but under eating all week and then binging on the weekends, like weekly restriction and the weekend binge. Sometimes this won't put you into a surplus, but a lot of times it will, depending on, usually the foods aren't, it's not like you're eating a bunch of potatoes or something. Typically, it's overindulging on other things that you maybe didn't get to have during the week, easier, more processed things, so it just kind of easier for the calories to rack up that way. Next category, energy and metabolism. You're not actually in a deficit. That's the biggest one. If you have been on a diet for a certain amount of time and you're not losing anything, you might want to check. In this, there's another category that I'll kind of later on, but may not actually be in a deficit. And I always call this an active couch potato, where you kind of your daily activity when you are calculating your calories. Like, you work out really hard every day, but rest of the day you're kind of just seated on your ass, like you have an office job, or just not generally that active outside of your workouts. And that miscalculation can also be discouraging if you are overestimating your what is called your NEAT, non activity or non exercise activity thermogenesis. So, not exercise. And then over exercising with bad recovery, this spikes cortisol and hunger, which obviously can make things a little bit more difficult, and adaptive metabolism. So if I go on a diet and I eat 1,700 calories per day, eventually my body is going to adapt to that, because my body is going to get smaller and my metabolism is going to adapt to those lower calories, which means after a while, to progress it, just like you have to add weights to get stronger, you need to add or take away some more calories if you want to keep losing weight. And just make sure you're staying in a good range for your health. And it's great to have diet breaks too, just so your metabolism can recover a little bit. And I would say after like 12 weeks of a deficit, maybe come out of it for a little bit, do a little refeed, come back in. Category, lifestyle and stress. Poor sleep. This is a big one. Sleep helps the production of testosterone and growth hormone, which is going to help you with muscle growth. And if your muscles aren't growing, then your body is not burning as much energy. Muscles take a lot more energy to maintain than fat does. You're not going to be able to see those results as quickly. Chronic stress, and this one sometimes is a little bit harder to control for some people, but it's always great to have things like walks, yoga, practices, meditation, anything like that. You can kind of needle with that cortisol level a little bit. You can always do things like cold plunges, if it's right for you, sauna. There's lots of things to lower cortisol. Eating better, not putting extra stress on your body. And then irregular routines. So inconsistent training, inconsistent meals, inconsistent sleep, inconsistencies in general, the body doesn't thrive off of. It loves consistency and routine, same with our mind. And so it can kind of do more stress, and also your body may have trouble adapting if you're just doing random shit all the time. So yeah, a regular amount of sleep. If it's your normal, I think it's really important for the body to adapt. And the next category, medical, hormonal / other. So like thyroid issues, PCOS or insulin resistance, perimenopause or menopause, and medications are all things that may help your journey, especially with things like thyroid, PCOS. You want to not spike your cortisol too much. So low and slow, working on strength. Same with perimenopause and menopause. You want to be working on strength, building muscle, making sure that you're getting good bone density and just getting stronger, and not hit workouts. You want to focus on low and slow. And with medications, just talking to your doctor if there's anything that you can do to mitigate things. If you are experiencing pretty bad side effects, maybe talk to your doctor if there's another option for you, if it's really bothering you that much. But maybe it just means you have to work a little bit harder, unfortunately. And it's always possible within these means to also lose weight. You just are at a little bit of a disadvantage. And so you may see a slower roll there, but slow wins the race. So just keep with it. The best time to start is yesterday, and just stay with it. And bottom line, you need to be in a consistent deficit, have adequate protein and movement, and make sure that your predictions of those things are pretty accurate for calorie counting. And track honestly, and maybe have some self audits if you aren't someone who wants to track every single day. Just have some days where you are tracking so you can make sure you're not off the rails, so you don't get frustrated with your progress. And make sure you have some stress and sleep management to help this process along. And some of my biggest tips is walking is super underrated. Even if you take your exercises and do at least 3 to 4 times a week at 30 to 45 minutes, and then add like 10,000 step goal every day, you will see that number start to come down. Plus, the step goal sometimes is easier than committing to like a big walk. If people have like a lunch break that they can just pop around, or if you go to an office, you can choose to go to the bathroom that's further away, or park further away in the grocery store, and try to accumulate those steps throughout the day instead of trying to aim to go for like an hour-long walk if you have difficulty showing up for that. And it can be really helpful to set little things along those lines, and also just figure out what a calorie deficit would look like for you. If you don't want to go the tracking route, use measuring cups. You can use the hand method and the plate method. There's lots of other things that you can do to make sure that you are eating well. But of course, there's nuance to everything. But overall, if you check these things and see if you're in the right place with these, you should start to see some progress. And if not, maybe hire a coach and see if they can help you out and figure out where your blind spot is. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will tune in next week.